Okay, so are you ready for the course outline? What we're gonna do over 8 weeks, 8 sessions? We have 8 units. I designed this course myself. Okay, it's not from anywhere. I designed it myself, unit by unit, slide by slide, word by word. So when I thought about teaching IELTS, I was thinking of some broad topics, and I outlined all of them in 8 units. The first unit will be about next week, will be about teaching examination classes. And as you know, IELTS is one of the exam classes, like TOEFL, okay, and many others. So in the first unit, we'll be focusing on teaching examination classes and how is it different from teaching general English, okay, or business English or the other courses. And that was, luckily, that was my specialism in Delta Module 3. I wrote an assignment of 4,500 words about teaching IELTS writing to help candidates get 7 above. General training, of course, not academic. So that will be our first unit. The second unit is about running a course, because all of us are teachers and all of us want to run and conduct some courses. So I'll give you my experience, or I will just share with you some of my experience about how to start a course, how to start an IELTS course, and generally how to start any course. There are some pre-course procedure. If you would like to start a course for kids, general English, business English, TOEFL, IELTS, whatever, then you have to go through some procedure. So we will discuss that in one of the sessions. Okay, so till now, session 1, session 2, we didn't talk about IELTS, you know. Unit 3, we still continue to talk about the language, you know. We're not talking about IELTS now. So unit 3 will be about the language systems and the language skills. And can anyone please tell me what are the language systems and what are the language skills?
Yes, the language skills, of course, we are talking about the 4 skills for language: speaking, listening, reading, and writing. And
Yeah.
the systems, we can say those are the sub skills, like for example, grammar or vocab or pronunciation or
True.
something that serves the skills.
True. So the systems are grammar, lexis, pronunciation, and functional language. Okay, everyday English, the daily conversation, and the skills, you know them. So till now, 3 sessions, we didn't talk about IELTS. We're just having an overview about exam classes and then how to start a course and then the language systems and the language skills, because in IELTS, they just test the skills. They don't test the grammar, they don't test vocabulary, but grammar and vocabulary are tested indirectly in IELTS. Like when you write, you have something about grammatical range and accuracy, you have something about lexical resource. So they test pronunciation, they test vocabulary, they test the grammar, but in an indirect way. Unit 4 will be about the first IELTS section, which is listening. Okay, how to teach listening. Not how to study listening for IELTS, it's how to teach. Now we're talking to people who might teach IELTS in the future, or who might be requested to teach IELTS in their schools or teach IELTS privately. So you need to know more about IELTS listening. We will talk about the listening sub-skills and how to improve each one. And we will practice a lot on the listening sub-skills, like gist, specific information, listening for detail, and so on. Okay. Unit 5 will be about, what's the section after listening?
Reading.
Yeah, so we will be doing the same thing on the reading section. Be talking about the reading sub-skills and how to improve, and the reading test format. After that, we move on to how to teach writing, and most important, how to check writing, because some teachers contacted me before to work with me as like writing examiners. And I said, okay, here is a task, please correct it and give me the feedback. And when they give feedback, they did a good job, but it was not that accurate. So, you know, we need people who are accurate when it comes to checking writing or evaluating speaking. So how to evaluate writing, how to assess speaking, that should be a skill if you would like to become an IELTS trainer one day, or if you would like to become a good English teacher one day. Because we as teachers, we also do our best to help students improve in the 4 skills, right? The last one is, someone might say, okay, unit 7, speaking, that's the end of the course. No, we have one more unit on assessment, the assessment types and how to end the course, how to evaluate a course, how to improve a course for future course participants. These are the 8 units. And we here have some details on each unit. I'm going to say them very quickly. So the first unit, as we said, introduction to teaching examination classes. And IELTS is one of the exam classes. So we're going to talk about the ELT specialisms according to Cambridge University. We're going to compare teaching general English to examination classes like IELTS. We're going to talk about group and learners profiles, like what I did just now, how to get some information about the students you're going to teach. You need to know them well. You need to have needs analysis, okay, so that the course can be relevant to their needs. What are the needs analysis tools that you can use as a teacher to get to know your students and to help them improve and work on their weaknesses? How to design a course, that's a very good point. And if you did train the trainer, you must be familiar with this, how to design a course and how to plan a training session. So I will remind you of how to design a course, any course, not just IELTS. And tools of assessment, subjective assessment, objective assessment, diagnostic testing, achievement testing, and so on. The second session will be about how to run a course, the procedure before you start any course. We're gonna deal with course details and fee. You see, alhamdulillah, I run some courses and most of you are familiar with the way how I run my courses, right? How I start advertising the course and how I have an orientation session and I have a group, a WhatsApp group, and you know, a design, a specific design. So this is how you can start your own business or start a course online. You can have a pre-course plan or a pre-course task, like in CELTA. In the CELTA, there is something called pre-course tasks. You need to work on them before the start of the course. And I have something like that in IELTS as well. The course orientation or the introductory session or the information session, how to make an action plan and the course timetable, how to have a follow-up system, people who are absent, people who attend, you know, the certificates and so on. How to select and choose your materials and activities to be suitable for the course participants. And the sequence and the pace of the course, how many sessions, how many hours per session. We will talk about all these details. Unit 3 is, as we said, simply speaking, the language systems, vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and functional language. The language skills, we have receptive and productive. The receptive skills are listening and reading, and the productive skills are writing and speaking. Then unit 4, we move on to the first section in the IELTS test, which is listening. And in this unit, we compare listening to reading as receptive skills. Then we move on to talk about listening sub-skills, because many teachers are not familiar with this. Even the teachers who did the CELTA or the TEFL, you know, they don't know what listening for just means, listening for specific information, listening for details, listening to infer, listening for attitude. They don't know these sub-skills. So we will go over them and we will have some activities so that we can understand them very well. The listening test format, you might be familiar with that. How many parts do we have in the listening test? How many parts?
4 parts.
Yeah, and how many questions?
40.
40.
Yes, so we will
Yeah.
talk about that, and we will talk about the listening types of questions and how to help the students work on these types of questions. We will also give some listening tips and tricks and tips on how to improve listening in general, okay, and specifically for the listening test, and how to improve listening as a skill. Of course, I'm not going to be lecturing, you know, all these sessions will be interactive. You will have lots and lots of discussions in the breakout rooms and in the main room. So it's a good chance for you as well to improve your spoken English, talking to others about something relevant to your needs. How to teach IELTS reading? Almost the same thing. Reading sub-skills. These are the lesson shapes, if you're familiar with how to teach reading in the CELTA course or the TEFL course. We have 3 main stages in listening and reading. Do you know them? Are you familiar with them?
Yes, of course.
Pre-reading,
Pre-reading,
while,
and then while or during, and post.
Post-read. In IELTS, we don't go through this. We don't have pre-listening, while listening, post-listening. We just have, because we're not teaching, we're testing. So testing is different from teaching. The IELTS reading types of questions and the reading tips and tricks, how to improve reading for IELTS and how to improve reading in general. Unit 6 will be about writing, and that's my specialism in Delta Module 3. I chose IELTS and I chose writing and specifically general training. So in this unit, we'll be comparing writing to speaking, 2 productive skills, how they are same or how they are different. We'll also talk about some discourse features, written discourse features, like parallelism and you know, taking turns and so on. The writing test format, how many tasks and what they look like. How to write. We have 2 different approaches in writing. If you want to teach writing, we have the process approach and the product approach. We're going to talk about this. How to assess writing. We have something which is called correction code, okay, that you can agree with your students on, and it can make your life easy when it comes to writing correction as well. And the writing assessment criteria, if you're going to assess some students writing, so you need to be familiar with the band descriptors and the assessment criteria. And then we move on to speaking, quite similar. We talk about some spoken discourse features, accuracy and fluency, and how to improve each one, how to be more accurate when you speak, how to improve fluency. We all make mistakes, but we need to minimize, okay, our mistakes. We need to be able to correct our mistakes. We need to get rid of our errors, you know, because errors are, you know, big problem, but mistakes are okay. We all make mistakes. We can correct ourselves. We are aware that it's a mistake. So whenever I make a mistake, I correct myself. That's fine. We all make mistakes. Even native English speakers make mistakes, and I work with them, and I even have some recordings for them. They make mistakes with pronunciation, with grammar, with vocabulary, everything. And sometimes it's not a mistake. Sometimes it's an error. One of the English teachers is from London, and he was pronouncing a word in a different way. The word is rel, R-I-L-L-E, and he was saying Ryle, and he's from England, London, and he didn't correct himself. Maybe he thinks it's Ryle, but actually the pronunciation is rel. American English, Australian, Canadian, British, rel. So even native speakers make mistakes. Don't worry about this. Just try to speak, push yourself forward, okay, make mistakes, correct yourself, learn day after day, and this is how we become more confident when it comes to a very important interview. So do your best as well. Don't worry about making mistakes. We all make mistakes. Correct yourself on the spot if you can. If you can't, ask someone to give you feedback on your speaking, and I believe day after day you will be improved. The IELTS speaking test format, how many parts in the test, how to assess and mark IELTS speaking, the band descriptors and the assessment criteria, how to improve your spoken language in general. The final unit will be about assessment. And as you know, we have two different types of assessment. One starts with O and another one starts with S. Can anyone say them?
Formative and summative.
Yes. Yeah, that's, you know, we have objective and subjective, and we have formative and summative. Okay, so we will get to know what formative assessment means, what summative assessment means, objective assessment, subjective assessment, the differences, the qualities of a good test, validity, reliability, practicality, you know, everything. We will discuss everything about assessment, okay, for the sake of evaluating a course, because, you know, as I said, I've been teaching IELTS for 5 years now, and every time I finish a course, I send a link to the trainees. I say, please take two minutes and give me feedback on the course. And then I go and read the feedback and try to improve and try to fix any issues, you know, for the future course participants. And I believe after Allah has, let's say, tawfiq, that's the key to success. If you want to succeed, if you want to continue in the market, if you want to improve, if you want to have like a good reputation, you need to evaluate yourself every day. You need to evaluate your performance every day. You need to evaluate your courses after each round, improve the good points and fix the issues. So in this unit, we'll be talking about the difference between teaching, assessment, and tests. Be talking about the difference between formative and summative assessment, which one is progress test, which one is achievement test, why we do this, why we do that, which one is assessment of teaching, and which one is assessment for teaching. And end of course reports. If you're teaching even kids, you can give some reports at the end of the course. Course evaluation, how to design a questionnaire for your students, and the post-course plan, because one of the most important things that can make you successful is to have a plan beyond the course, after the course, is to have a follow-up system, is to have a kind of student support even after the course. And this is what I do. Actually, anyone who did the course with me even 2 years ago, whenever they contact me, or sometimes I send them messages on the WhatsApp group I have, I say, guys, if you want us to evaluate writing, or if you would like to have a speaking mock test, you can contact me. I'm ready to help. So this is kind of a student's support even after the course, ongoing or lifetime support, even after the course. Don't finish the course and say goodbye forever to your students. Stay in touch, end of course, but not end of relationship. So we will also talk about this. This is part of my experience. So basically, in this course, we have 4 sessions about how to teach IELTS and 4 sessions about exam classes and the experience on how to run a course. So this course can be beneficial, not only for you to teach IELTS, but also to run any course. Yeah, after each unit, I'm going to send you the unit, you know, like some slide in a PDF file.
Before or after?
After the session, because I don't want to spoil the session. So right after the session, I'm gonna send you the session's presentation PDF, you know, and everything will be there. So at the end of the course, you will have 8 PDF files. Everything about the course. You can go back and revise them at any time.
In details, yeah, good.
Yes, yes. I love to put everything in the presentations because I believe people forget easily. So if I just give hints in the presentation and I do everything in the session, they will forget. Like a year after the course, they will forget everything. So yeah, my training style is to put everything, almost everything in the presentation, so that when I send the PDF file, you have everything. You can remember everything. You can go back to it as a written record at any time.
Thank you very much.
All of us.